Hello guys, welcome to another video. We will be doing a game review in this video. Let's get it. Hello? Yes. Yes, this is he. Yep. Mm-hmm. That is correct. That is correct. Hello? Yep. Alright. Let's get right. Uh, Gotta, okay, yeah. What's going on? Ah, close that. Move that to a different. Ah, this stupid thing. I think I may have to reset. Reset that. Ah! Okay, yeah, it's resetting. Yeah. Come on. Right. Come on, you. Tab. No. Come on, you. Darn it, anyhow. There we go. I'm just gonna do it on this one. So I can see. Alright. So we are going to review this is probably gonna be a longer video. Alexa, stop. Alright. First we have the open world.
It's 2021, and video games with open worlds certainly are not slowing down, so we're gonna round up 20 games.
That's happened before.
Games with open worlds.
Internet. Driving me nuts today.
Releasing this year. These are the ones we're looking forward to the most. Now, let's get started off with number 20 and talk about Fable. This is the next generation of the now classic Xbox RPG series, set in a very fantasy-type world that is confirmed, but we don't know much more about it. We don't even know if this will exactly make it in 2021. We don't know if it's completely based off of the original Albion from the old games. We do know that Playground Games is working on it. They've been behind some of the Forza Horizon games, so they know how to make an exciting, engaging open world, but that was with race cars. This is more with swords and magic. It's one of our favorite Xbox series here, not gonna lie, though we will admit that it's higher up on this list because we don't know for sure if it's gonna make it in 2021. But yeah, next over at number 19, we have Atomic Heart, which, if you can see here, it looks absolutely
Right. Idiot.
incredible. It's been recently shown off with new ray tracing graphics, and it's this weird...
Ow! Come on, you piece of work. You're driving me nuts today.
His desires. You're gonna fix ramshackle flying machines and jump, climb, swing, and slide through a beautiful, mysterious world. I'm reading their description because honestly, that's the best way to describe it. Look at this game. I mean, from what you can see, it seems cool. It seems a little creative, and it seems a little different than what we've been playing recently. An open world adventure game that's way less about killing stuff and more about engineering and building stuff and using your brain is really cool. We don't see enough of these, so we're really looking forward to it. This is being developed by Coffee Addict Studio, and we don't have a release date, but it is slated for 2021. Next over at number 12, we have Gotham Knights. This is the new action RPG Batman game that, as you remember, does not technically take place in the Arkham universe. This is a new situation where Batman and Commissioner Gordon are dead, and it's up to the Bat family to take to the street.
We do currently play Arkham Knight on PS4, but we haven't been playing it since it hasn't been requested, but it would be something I would play. As well as other Batman games.
And fight the crime, and possibly the Court of Owls, which was teased, which is really cool if you love Batman. So there's a lot of potential for a Bat family game. These characters, as much as they are embraced by comic book fans, I'd say mainstream culture doesn't really get exposed to them enough, and this could just be a lot of fun with cool characters and cool combat. We've also seen traversal around a pretty surprisingly big looking Gotham City with vehicles, teleportation. We wonder how much emphasis there really is going to be on exploration, but as of right now, the potential seems pretty high. If you love Batman and if you love kicking butt and maybe some RPG elements dashed in here and there, we're just rooting for Gotham Knights to knock it out of the park. Next over at number 11, we have Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. I'm gonna be honest, this one is a bit of a guess. We don't know for sure if it's open world or not yet, but what we've seen, those glimpses, those gameplay demos, while that was a linear experience, some of the worlds that Ratchet was thrust into during that demo, they looked massive, and considering this game has been worked on for a while, and considering they have the SSD and all the technology behind PlayStation 5 in this thing, this could be one of the more open-ended, bigger Ratchet & Clank games, maybe with just bigger worlds. We've seen some pretty big worlds in Ratchet & Clank before. We want to see that here, as long as it doesn't really lose focus on what it's trying to do. Depending on how open these worlds are or not, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart just looks damn awesome, and we can't wait to play it. Next over at number 10, we have Monster Hunter Rise. This is a new Nintendo Switch Monster Hunter adventure that reminds me very much of the 3DS stuff, but with taking all the stuff they've learned from Monster Hunter World. Monster Hunter World and Monster Hunter Rise were worked on kind of parallel to one another, so elements from both bounce back and forth, and the traversal and verticality here looks damn incredible. Chalking that up with, of course, all of the rest of the cool stuff that came from Monster Hunter World, including big open worlds with less load screens and just good-ass action. There was a demo, and it seems like people really loved it and totally embraced it, and we're going to get our hands on the game March 26, 2021. Next over at number 9, we have Avowed. This is the Obsidian RPG. This is Obsidian's Skyrim, if you want to get really reductive. I think it might be more than that, but essentially, this is the one they're making for Xbox, since Xbox owns Obsidian now. All we got was a teaser cinematic type of thing. We saw skeletons, we saw swords, we saw castle sieges, we saw bow and arrows, and we saw magic. That's about it. They're building their own world here. Things can get really interesting. Of course, Obsidian is really good at building RPGs and worlds and dialogues and quests and all of that. We're big fans of Obsidian, so we're hoping this is a good one, and we're really hoping we see it in 2021, because a big old fantasy world to explore is something we've wanted for a minute now, especially a new one from Obsidian. You know, space is cool, but let's try some fantasy stuff next. But over at number 8, we have Tchia, if I'm pronouncing that right. This was announced at last year's Game Awards, and it made a splash just because of how cool and creative and different it looked, and it's like a tropical-themed open-world adventure. This is a physics-based game with some light puzzles, but there's also interaction with animals and objects that are going to help you on your quest. As you climb up stuff, you glide around, you swim, you enjoy these beautiful vistas, and it seems like there's a really good mix of Zelda Wind Waker and Breath of the Wild kind of thrown together with a good artsy creative indie spin, especially the fact that your character can play a ukulele. That's just cool. I don't know. Anyway, I digress. Next at number 7 is Starfield. Yes, we're gonna throw this on the list. We would love to see it in 2021. Maybe it's wishful thinking, maybe it's not. Starfield, for those of you that don't know, is the next Bethesda game, you know, the creators of Skyrim. Now, they have come under scrutiny in recent years by some fans with some moves they've made, but I'll put that aside and just say, hey, Starfield seems like a game that they really want to make. A cool, creative, new sci-fi RPG thing where I'm assuming it's going to be open world because it's space, and most of the time open space we consider open world. And it's new IP from Bethesda, who's kind of just been working on Elder Scrolls and Fallout franchises for a minute now, so it's nice to see something new from them. How big is it going to be? We don't know. When is it actually going to release? We don't know for sure, but we know this is coming well before the next Elder Scrolls, so hopefully we see it this year. Next, over at number 6, of course, we have Elden Ring, the next From Software game, the long-awaited From Software game. The game that they announced, and then that was it. They left us all hanging, and every single time there's a game event or new bits of game news, we think it's going to be an Elden Ring announcement, but no, nothing. The story and world building, of course, has been worked on in collaboration with George R.R. Martin of Game of Thrones fame, and the early talks said that this is From Software's most ambitious game to date, and it's apparently the biggest and possibly open world. We're really excited to see where this fantasy epic adventure type thing takes us. All we have still is this teaser trailer. We don't know anything, but we're really hoping 2021 is the year, baby. But over at number 5, we have State of Decay 3, which was announced at the tail end of 2020 with a really exciting little cinematic teaser trailer that doesn't tell me too much about the game other than that it seems to be set in the winter and deers and animals can be zombies now, which is potentially really cool. Now, State of Decay 2 has come a long way. Undead Labs has updated the game more and more and made it pretty damn good. Fans have seemingly been pretty happy with it, so a third game could really blow the roof off of everything. Since this is like an Xbox thing, it's probably going to take advantage of the Xbox Series X and PC, and we're excited to just see how they can come up with a new spin on a formula that's already really good. Like, their gameplay is cool, it's interesting, their spin on the zombie genre has been noted, but how can they shake it up? We're hoping State of Decay 3 does something, and we're hoping we see it this year. Now over at number 4, we have Dying Light 2, another open world zombie game, one that has been delayed indefinitely, but we still think we're going to see it in 2021, maybe towards the end, but still. This game was shaping up to be absolutely incredible with a big, massive world set seemingly many years after the original Dying Light, where things are even worse. Little micro communities are popping up. There's some oppression, there's some weird organizations, there's some unsavory characters that you need to deal with, on top of just, you know, the whole zombie infestation thing. Also, with the fact that in this game, the quests you take on, the decisions you make in the story, are all going to actually affect the world around you, not just visually, but some gameplay ramifications too. We're really excited to see how that can go down, especially considering Dying Light, the original's gameplay, the core gameplay mechanics, the combat, the running was awesome, and now if they're doubling down with story and world building,
a little violent.
Now down to number 3, we have Breath of the Wild 2, another one that's been quiet for a little while at the time of making this video. It was announced, and then
yes,
that's
but
it.
I don't currently
we gotta
have
see
a
it in
Switch.
2021, right? Considering Breath of the Wild was very much open world, we're going to assume that Breath of the Wild 2 also is. There was a rumor early on of like some co-op multiplayer type of stuff between Link and Zelda. Who knows if that's actually going to be a thing? What I'm just excited for is like the actual world and concepts they've built, the story and everything going on between Breath of the Wild and the Hyrule Warriors games is pretty sweet. So where are they going to take it in Breath of the Wild 2? I don't know, man, but I'm willing to sign up. Next, over at number 2, we have Far Cry 6, which has been delayed, but we know it is coming in 2021. And Far Cry games are, of course, open world as hell, and we assume that 6 is going to be no different. This this time around, Giancarlo Esposito is the main villain. You may know him as Gustavo Fring from Breaking Bad or Moff Gideon from The Mandalorian, and he's a perfect fit. Cool, yeah, but what I'm more interested in is the gameplay itself. The game takes place on a fictional island called Yara, and there's a whole dictatorship. That's, of course, where Giancarlo Esposito's character comes in, and you apparently play as a guerrilla fighter who is attempting to bring it all down. And this new game world, which is inspired by Cuba, is said to be the largest Far Cry game world to date, which is pretty interesting, especially considering that they've said that a large part of the map is actually going to be a city. So Far Cry gameplay in a city is interestingly enough, and if you add in all the animals and stuff which are coming back that you can hire, and more makeshift style weapons and crafting, with that revolution theme, this could all be really, really cool. We were originally going to see this February 2021, but of course because of COVID it has been delayed, but maybe it'll still squeak in this year. But down at number 1, we have Horizon Forbidden West. This is the next big PlayStation 5 game. It's also going to be on PS4, but it is the next step in Aloy's adventure, presumably with a much bigger world. From that initial reveal trailer, the location looked absolutely stunning and massive and sprawling and really cool. This is unfortunately another one that we don't have much to go on, but we can expect to see new creatures, new cultures, new gadgets to take down these beasts, and hopefully, probably, presumably, some really pretty graphics too. We're really excited for this one, and I gotta say, even though we don't have a ton of information about it now, I expect us to talk about it a lot more in the near future. So there you have it. Those are 20 open world games to look forward to, hopefully all in 2021, but we want to hear from you guys in the comments what games you're looking forward to. Do they have an open world, or do they not? Are you sick of open worlds, or do you love them to death? Let's talk anything open world games from 2021 down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, maybe learned about a new game, clicking the like button does really help us out. We would appreciate that. But if you're new, also consider subscribing, maybe hitting.
Make sure to put suggestions in the comments. I would like to hear your game suggestions. We will be reviewing current games and new games. So make sure to put a comment. If it's not out, if it has a trailer, we'll review it, but if it doesn't, we can't. But make sure to say hello. New games 2021 more.
'21 is here. There's a ton of great stuff to look forward to. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on Game Ranks,
Boy.
The top 10 new
Come
games to
on.
play in the first half of
Come on, interact.
2021. Quick disclaimer, we are
Ah.
talking about the first half of 2021, so that means from January to June 2021. Games like God of War, Halo Infinite, Resident Evil Village, Dying Light 2, and Starfield do not count. We will probably not be seeing any of those games until the second half of 2021. Keep that in mind, and without further ado, starting off with Outriders. This was a game that we actually expected a while back. It was something that was announced quite a while ago. They started developing it back in 2015. It comes to us from People Can Fly, who brought us titles like Gears of War Judgment, Bulletstorm, and Painkiller. In a lot of ways, it looks kind of similar to Gears of War. However, there's a significantly large amount of role-playing elements incorporated, and it's obviously a completely different aesthetic/world in which you as a human are granted superpowers as a result of this energy storm going on this planet Enoch, which humanity is currently trying to colonize. It's got an interesting look to it, and I kind of think it might play out like a Gears of War meets Destiny situation, and I'm pretty darn interested to see exactly how that plays out. Outriders is landing on PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X April 1st. Moving on to number 9, it's Bravely Default 2, which is a JRPG from Square that I'm personally very excited about. On account, Bravely Second was kind of underwhelming, and this fixes most of the problems that I had with it. At least seems to. Bravely Second was a continuation of Bravely Default's story, and in truth felt kind of a little bit too much like an expansion pack to me and a lot of other people. And knowing they are kind of doing the Final Fantasy thing and moving on to an entirely new world, an entirely new cast, an entirely new story, I'm quite excited for that. And from what I've played of the 5-hour demo they published in December, Bravely Default 2 looks like a big return to form. Honestly, there just aren't enough traditional JRPGs that take advantage of new hardware, and Bravely Default was that, even on the Nintendo DS, but seeing it on the Switch I think is really going to be great, and that they decided, hey, we gotta sort of do a fresh start with this. I'm excited for it. It seems to encapsulate the spirit of what Bravely Default was about more so than Bravely Second did, and I'm excited for further entries in it. Bravely Default 2 is coming to the Nintendo Switch on February 26th. At number 8 is Monster Hunter Rise, which brings to us the sort of formula that we saw in Monster Hunter World, combined with a more verticality-oriented level design philosophy. Now, that doesn't mean they're throwing out the zoneless approach that they used for Monster Hunter World. That's still there, but they've retailored a lot of what's going on in this game to be good for a verticality-oriented set of mechanics. I think this is a really interesting decision, and I think could result in something incredibly positive. The game was developed alongside Monster Hunter World, with the two teams working on these two games, exchanging information and trying to keep everything in sync. So a lot of the design decisions that were present in World are probably going to be present in Rise. And I think that's a really good thing, because World really did a great job of sort of crystallizing what Monster Hunter is about and adding the verticality that Rise is intending. For all intents and purposes, might be a really big, very cool addition that might influence future Monster Hunter games for who knows how long. Monster Hunter Rise is a Nintendo Switch exclusive, and it's coming on March 26th. At number 7 is Returnal. This is a third-person science fiction psychological horror shooter, which was part of the PlayStation 5 announcement presentation. And not only did it show off a lot of the graphical prowess of the PS5, but it really shows promise as this kind of cosmic horror oriented, is it in your head, is it not, Groundhog Day, End of Tomorrow type, time loop, dying, trying to escape type story/game. It's of course a shooter, so you know what kind of dynamics you're getting there. It does look interesting in that the suit that you have, which adapts over time,
Yes,
offers
it
different
does
weapons,
look
as the
interesting.
planet, which also adapts over time,
And
ends up having to keep you on your
so
feet.
maybe.
Now, apparently haptic feedback is going to play a big role in this game, and I'm really interested in finding out exactly what that means. But until then, I think looking at the visuals and type of game it is and the whole cosmic horror thing, I'm just really excited.
If I'm gonna get it or not.
It lands on the PlayStation 5 on March 19th. At number 6 is The Medium, a really innovative looking game in which you control somebody who's a medium between the regular world and the spirit world, and you're generally always controlling her in both worlds at once. And I think that what we've seen of that, given how these two worlds are connected and the things you can change and cause to happen in one world by doing something in the other, offers a lot of really innovative gameplay possibilities. And they've done a lot of touting this dynamic, so it kind of has to work out really well for the promise of the game to be fulfilled. But I'm sold on it. I'm excited to see if it pans out. Like I said, pretty much everything I've seen looks good. It comes to us with a soundtrack from Akira Yamamoto from Silent Hill, and really does seem to take a lot of inspiration from the sort of way Silent Hill works. In order to do the two worlds, they kind of did the fixed position cameras that we saw back in the original Silent Hill. But in a lot of cases, this game looks maybe even a bit more scary. I think there's a lot of potential, and I really hope it lives up to it, because it'd be great to see this Xbox/PC exclusive really work out. The Medium is hitting on January 28th. At number 5 is Destruction All-Stars, a game that was originally going to be a launch title for the PS5, and I think is kind of possibly, in terms of multiplayer,
looks a lot like Rocket
for the
League.
PlayStation 5. It's a
Something I would
vehicular
play.
combat game which kind of combines the sort of roller derby type thing going on with, like I said, vehicular destruction, where the point is obviously destroying other players' cars. Now, you get various different weapons and means of destroying those cars depending on what you're playing as, and even when your car is destroyed, you're still wandering around the arena, pretty vulnerable, but also with the ability to change things going on in the battle with special powers, and in some cases, the ability to take others' cars. Honestly, this just looks like a hugely fun party game. I hope it lives up to the hype, because I will waste so much time on it. Destruction All-Stars is landing on PS5 sometime in February. At number 4 is Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. Now, this again was a big part of the PlayStation presentation and showed us a lot of amazing technologies on top of, you know, being a new Ratchet & Clank game, which I'm going to just say anybody who likes platform games or shooters or the sort of intersection of the two, or just is a fan of Insomniac games, that's great. However, like I said, some of the really cool stuff I think that is worth paying a lot of attention to is like the teleportation dynamics we saw in the trailer. This is going to be an insane game. There's going to be a lot to it, and I think that it's really going to take advantage of a lot of new technologies on top of bringing us gameplay that I think we all wanted more of, especially after the recent Ratchet & Clank remake. I'm stoked. I cannot wait for a new Ratchet & Clank game. That's landing sometime in the first half of the year. They still don't have a firm date, but it's before Q2, they say, for 2021. That's obviously a PS5 exclusive. And number 3 is Hitman 3, which, let's just go ahead and say, the current Hitman series has just been like a hit, man. Wah wah. Terrible pun. Truth, though. I have really extremely enjoyed Hitman 1 and 2 in this series, which has really gone the extra mile in kind of creating these more narrative-oriented scenarios that still retain much more of the sandbox nature of more early Hitman games. What they've told us about Hitman 3 is that it's actually a little bit more dark and serious, which I actually thought the series itself was kind of a little more dark and serious. It does retain the humor of Hitman, and I expect that that's probably not completely gone either. As far as stealth assassination goes, the current Hitman series has just been absolutely amazing, and rounding out the trilogy is Hitman 3 hitting on PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, and Xbox One, January 20th. And number 2 is Back 4 Blood, a spiritual successor to Left 4 Dead, brought to us by the developers of Left 4 Dead, Turtle Rock Studios. I'm excited about this because, frankly, after Turtle Rock split from Valve, we really just needed this thing. Honestly, Turtle Rock's a great developer, but Evolve is just not their forte. It had a lot of problems, and having them back in a co-op zombie shooter is something that, honestly, I don't even think I have to talk a lot about. Left 4 Dead is a fantastic co-op zombie shooter. It's the definer of the genre, and I can't wait for more content from the creators of that. Back 4 Blood is hitting PC, PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X, and Xbox One on June 22nd. And finally, at number 1 is Deathloop. This is probably the game I am most excited for on this list, so I'm stoked it's at number 1. Deathloop is the next game from Arcane Studios, the developers of Dishonored. Really just fantastic devs. And Deathloop looks kind of like Dishonored on steroids in a sort of techno-future setting where there's a time loop. And it looks like it ramps up everything that we know about Dishonored to take advantage of a new generation of hardware, as well as a new aesthetic and world. Really, it looks like something really fresh, while also being a continuation of the power-oriented gameplay we see in Dishonored. As far as I'm concerned, Arcane is really just one of the best devs out there. I absolutely love the Dishonored series, and I cannot wait to play this. They were acquired by Microsoft, but thankfully this was a game that PlayStation owners are going to be able to play. It's landing on PC and PS5 on May 21st. Couple of bonus games for you. First, Werewolf the Apocalypse is a game that puts you as a shape-shifting werewolf eco-terrorist, which maybe sounds a little extreme, but I think is actually kind of fresh. There's 3 styles of gameplay: human, werewolf, and regular wolf, which will apparently lend a lot of variety gameplay-wise, and looks pretty ambitious in what it's trying to do. That's landing on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and Microsoft Windows on February 4th. Finally is It Takes Two, a 2-player co-op platformer that tells the story of a couple of people having to fix their relationship through a trek through a mystical world in which there are tons of platforming challenges. I think that's hilarious, but I also think the gameplay that it brings us into looks pretty fresh and interesting. It Takes Two lands on PC, PS4, and Xbox One on March 26th. That is it for now. Let us know what you think about the first half of this year. We think it looks pretty good. Leave us a comment. Let us know. If you like this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week, and the best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription. So click subscribe. Do not forget to enable all notifications.
Yes, click subscribe to me and to his channel.
And you can follow me on Twitter at Falcon the
Hero. And leave comments, like this video, share the video, and yeah. Let's do some more. Okay, there we go.
Raid is a free-to-play action RPG.
This year's going to be a big one for RPGs. We've gathered up the best, the ones we think are going to be most worth playing. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on Game Ranks, the top 10 new RPGs of 2021. Quick disclaimer before we start, Hogwarts got delayed to 2022, and Dragon Age probably isn't going to come out until next year either. So we're not going to talk about either of those. But starting off at number 10, it's Dark Alliance. Now, we don't know exactly when this one's coming out, but it's a Dungeons & Dragons based game that some people have made cursory comparisons to Marvel's Avengers. But from everything we've seen, Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance is not a live service game, so it probably won't be riddled with garbage. The game's a spiritual successor to Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance 2. It involves you building up a team of very powerful people to fight a threat in Icewind Dale. Now, like I said, we don't have a firm release date, but as far as we know, it's coming out on most platforms. We don't have a confirmed list, but I would say at least Windows and probably the big consoles. sometime this year. At number 9
Maybe.
is Biomutant. This is a game we've been paying attention to for a while. It was announced a few years ago, slated for release pretty much every year. What I like about this game is that it's a big open world game. It appears to have some verticality. There's a lot of different fighting styles in it, from kung fu to kind of Matrix-ish gunfighting. There's gliding, and you make your character, and rather than having sliders, the actual physical attributes you give your character, that's what is going to affect your stats and abilities and the way you move around, which I think is really interesting and fun. On top of that, it's just a really cool looking game. Developers have talked about how the combat might feel a little bit like Devil May Cry, and the game might progress a little bit like Destiny, which is interesting. It could work out pretty well, I think. We don't have an exact date yet, but apparently it's going to be at least Q2. They're starting in the new fiscal year, and apparently we're going to see it on all the major consoles as well as PC. At number 8 is Gotham Knights, which appears to be very much a offshoot of Arkham Knight because they finished that story.
I currently play Arkham Knight on the other one. I can't remember what it is, but I do currently play that and I like it. So this would definitely be a game that I would look into and probably buy.
Story in which the various proteges of Batman band together to stop the
we
crime
already
in Gotham
reviewed
City
this one,
that
I
has
think,
happened
on this
after
channel.
Batman has died. It is being developed by WB Games Montreal, the developers of Arkham Origins, but is apparently separate from the Arkham games. We don't know exactly the relation, other than it appears to be the same kind of game, which is great, just to be completely clear.
Make sure to subscribe to my other channel, Ps4 Gaming.
This looks like a reset. Obviously, I'm always ready for more Arkham-style combat, and apparently they're trying to divide up specific abilities among the various people. For instance, Robin has access to teleportation using the Justice League satellite. But what's interesting about this too is there's apparently going to be 2-player co-op, which I really like the idea of. I am not sure whether we're talking split screen co-op or online co-op. Either way, I'm pretty fine. I would prefer it both ways, actually. We don't have a date, but Gotham Knights is coming to Windows, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X sometime this year. At number 7 is Outriders, a game that we've dedicated a pretty fair amount of attention to. It suffered a lot of delays, but it comes to us from People Can Fly, the people who made Gears of War Judgment, Bulletstorm, and Painkiller. It appears very much to be like if you combined Gears of War and Destiny, and I think that's pretty interesting because you have that 3-player co-op, but you also have a lot of RPG elements that apparently will be oriented towards customizing everything quite a bit. They have a lot of systems they've detailed on their YouTube channel if you're interested in going in depth. For me, it does look like they've put something compelling together. It's just been such a long time we've seen this game without actually having played it that, co-op Gears of War RPG with skill trees and systems. I mean, it sounds great. I'm really interested in seeing it, and it looks like we're finally going to when Outriders lands on Windows, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X on April 1st. And number 6 is Elden Ring, the collaboration with From Software and George R.R. Martin that everyone is looking forward to. It's basically an open world take on the genre that From birthed, the Soulsborne, Souls-like, whatever you want to call it genre, with lore and story brought to us by one of the most celebrated modern authors out there, George R.R. Martin. I don't know how you could go wrong with this. It seems like a stretch to imply it could go bad. I'm of course very excited for this one. We don't yet have a specific release date, however it is supposed to come this year. At number 5 is Monster Hunter Rise, which has been developed alongside Monster Hunter World with
we already reviewed this
edition.
one.
Monster Hunter Rise, as its name implies, is attempting to inject some level of verticality into the monster. It was developed apparently have been shared between these two studios, so a lot of the conventions that we saw in World, the sort of streamlining and seamless map, big open world idea that is present here in Rise, which I think is very good. I mean, you could make a Nintendo Switch Monster Hunter and make the case that unlike Rise, which was on the quote-unquote bigger consoles, it was going to return to the zoned approach. I like the open world approach personally. This one is actually built on the Resident Evil engine, which I think is interesting, but very much could lend itself to some good stuff. That is a good engine. Monster Hunter Rise is coming to Nintendo Switch exclusively on March 26th. At number 4 is Starfield, and take this one with a little bit of a grain of salt. We've been told that the absolute earliest we would see this game is 2021, so we're going to talk about it at least. Obviously, it's a Bethesda game. It's going to come in the same mode as a Skyrim, as a Fallout, except obviously it takes place in space, so we're going to be dealing with the idea of space travel.
Yes.
That's cool. I think that's a great thing for Bethesda.
Although I haven't played
However,
any
I think
space
there's one
games
very interesting curveball
before,
that relates to this.
but I did like
Microsoft
space.
owns them now, so we have no idea what platforms this is coming to. It may be a multi-platform, it may not. We don't know. Minecraft
Hopefully it is.
because they know they can make tons of money with it being multi-platform.
And we will be playing Minecraft more on my channel. Hopefully we will be able to multi-stream it once we get a capture card.
Instead of keeping it exclusive, I don't know. But I can say that I'm disturbed they're still using the creation engine after, the last several games. The bugginess of Bethesda products just hasn't really remained charming, so to speak. Let's hope that's addressed. Nevertheless, I am very excited for Starfield. It'll probably be out on every major platform, hopefully this year. Obviously, we're waiting on more information from them. And number
Oh, come on.
This is a super handy trick
Not
on
an
how to
ad.
save money at Target. Meet Capital One Shopping. Capital One Shopping is a free extension.
And number 3 is Dying Light 2, which is a game that got quote-unquote delayed indefinitely at one point. Now, the reason for that wasn't that it was in development hell, but that they wanted to ensure that everything was robust and workable the way that they had promised it, which their promises are pretty steep in terms of this game. Not only is Dying Light a great parkour-based zombie game, they also promised Dying Light 2 would follow this narrative structure that the player is actively participating in the construction of. We've heard developers say the words choices matter so many times, but they've made promises about how extensive that's actually going to be that I'm very interested in the result.
too sure.
Zombie game or no, parkour or no. This game takes place 15 years after the original game. Humanity's on the brink of extinction. The zombie war has not gone well, and actually has some writers that worked on Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Dying Light 2 is going to land on PlayStation 4 and 5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X, as well as PC, sometime this year, hopefully. And number 2 is Horizon Forbidden West, which is just an awesome looking sequel to what is truly one of the better traditional open world style games. In terms of what Horizon is aesthetically, the whole robot dinosaur post-apocalypse thing is perfect for getting people in the door. It's certainly what got me in the door. But the narrative and gameplay depth and the absolutely beautiful open world are what kept me around. I am excited to see more of the story of Horizon. I'm personally really excited because the image that they promote Horizon Forbidden West with, the current cover, I guess, or movie poster image, is this totally overgrown, basically completely destroyed Golden Gate Bridge. So I think we're probably going to see the remains of San Francisco, and I think that's going to be super interesting,
I would
considering
made
how
a
Horizon ties
decision
itself
if I
into
was
our current.
going
Horizon
to
Forbidden
look
West
into
is coming
playing it.
quarter 3, possibly quarter 4 on PS4 and PS5.
But
And
maybe.
finally, at number 1 is Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, a sequel to a 2004 action RPG that a lot of people hold very dear. Now, in a lot of ways, this is kind of considered Vampire Simulator, but it is a narrative-driven game where you join one of 5 vampire clans, taking place in Seattle as you, a fledgling vampire who is transformed in a mass attack, which has ultimately caused a lot of interclan conflict. Beyond the setup, all I can really do is speculate. I think we're going to see a pretty open worldy type game here, and I think that's good because Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines is a perfect place to do that. We'll be seeing the game on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and Windows sometime this year. Also, a quick bonus game for you. Nier Replicant is an upgraded version of Nier Replicant, which is a offshoot of Nier Gestalt, which is very confusing, but Nier is a very confusing series. That doesn't mean it's not worth playing. I love Nier. It is apparently an upgraded version of Nier Replicant as opposed to some sort of outright remake, and their intent is to retool the battle system to be appealing to Nier Automata fans, which that's great. Nier Replicant version 1.22474487139, yes, that's the actual title, is coming to PS4 and Xbox One in April. Bravely Default 2, the true successor to the original, where Bravely Second was kind of a continuation of the story and felt more like an expansion. This is a proper JRPG sequel in which they've created an entirely new world, entirely new cast. With
Something
that,
I would be
I think
interested
we're
in.
looking at a pretty good release schedule. Which games are you playing? Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. If you like this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week. The best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription. So click subscribe. Do not forget to enable all notifications. As always, we thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter at Falcon the Hero. We'll see you next time right here on Game Ranks.
Okay, I got your W-2. It's just a few more questions.
That's Dave, a free TurboTax live tax expert.
Why do you need a tax expert?
I've always done those for you.
My taxes are different since I moved out. Besides, Dave's advice is free, and I can file for free.
Hey, Dave, if my son still eats my food, does that make him a dependent?
No.
File a simple return.
shoot this one.
This is our home.
I guess something I would play. Bruh. Come on. I like simulator games. I like simulation games, so this is something I would play. Number 9. No.
Wonder.
This is our home.
Howdy, neighbors. Hey, buddy.
No. 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 What? Bomb somewhere? Bomb somewhere. Bomb somewhere. Okay, that's kinda...
Just leave. Don't think about it.
Yes, I would look into this, maybe buy it to get a laugh. Oh well. That's kind of making fun of bums. Boom. Number 7. This is something I would play. I play Train Simulator on my other account. On my other channel, ps5 Gaming. Make sure to subscribe to that. Number 6. Oh, come on. Yes. Depending on the controls. Number 5. I guess. Looks fun. Number 4. We have Junkyard Simulator.
Restore your junkyard finds. Renew furniture, cars, home appliances and electronics, and much more.
Maybe. Alright.
Junkyard Simulator.
When advertising on YouTube, I know that making an authentic video with a clear call to action is the key to getting results.
Alright, I currently play this. I bought it on Steam. Or, wait, maybe this is a different one. It's not down. I think this is a different one, so I would play it. I'm not sure though. Number 2. Fireman 6. Yes. We gotta hurry up with this video. You want, our next video. You want our next video is a Roblox video, so if you if you like Roblox, join me on the next, join me on the next video if you like Roblox. So yeah, we're gonna finish this up, and then I'm gonna end the video. And get ready for the next one.
Oh my goodness, this is the new generation of gaming. Capital One Shopping is amazing.
If you're a gamer, you can get awesome deals on games.
Okay, we already reviewed this one on my other channel, Ps4 Gaming, YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe to that. We play lots of games on there. This one. Do have to get ready for my next video, but I want to check this game out.
Come closer. A little bit closer. See the little corners to explore creatures. And your swarm will...
No. Oh.
Close your eyes and imagine a place where the sun is bright and the beaches are white.
I don't know.
A place filled with southern charm, where the water is as warm as the welcome. So come feel the wind in your sails. Kick back and relax. Enjoy the local cuisine. Your dream vacation is waiting for you here on the Gulf Coast.
Maybe.
Stop!
It would be yes, but I wasn't do the police brutality. Number 7. Maybe. Doesn't look like the game that you would talk a lot.
Now streaming.
I'm not supposed to be here. Can you help me get back?
Why? Earth is boring.
You're missing out on the joys of life, like pizza.
Oh, come on. Really long trailer. Come on. We already reviewed that one. This is awesome. I would definitely play this. Transport Fever. Yes. Number 4. I think, yeah, I played that one. I would play this one. A little bit hard. nobody thinks that. Just wanted to.
Talk to TAC 15. Talk to TAC 15. You have compromised authority to make entry on Site 1. How copy?
Roger that.
This is a SWAT game, something I would play, yes. Definitely. Why don't we have any sound? No sound. Okay, bye guys. Hope you like. Make sure to like the video, follow, or subscribe. Um. And I'm going to end the video here.